see, I can see myself on the screen, and it's looking down at me right now. I have to move the camera up. I don't think it has you in the picture. Let me see. Someone's hitting hearts. Someone's fucking looking at me and beating their clown. Oh, it's Gotham. It's Gotham City Steel. It's Gotham City Steel. What's going on, Gotham City? I'm fucking Hold on, I'm blinding you with a flashlight right here. That's an old office lamp. One of them old office lamps. So that'll blind even Helen fucking Keller, you know. Woo, that got me good. That me right in the eyeballs. I'm doing a test with the video here. Lag test. From the time that I say lag test, I want you to comment. Lag test.
Did you turn on the light in the guest room at any point?
No.
That's weird.
Oh, this house can be a little weird. Nice. So it was like less than 10 seconds of lag. Do it again. Right now. All right. So it's in that 8 to 10 second time frame, which is really good actually. There's always going to be lag. I tell people this because they're plumb ignorant. They'll be like say I run auctions on here. They're like, I got the last bidding. Because on here I do a verbal countdown for my auctions. Like say I'm auctioning off this Roger Staubach rookie. And I'll be like 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and whoever the high bidder is, who I see on my screen last, you know. And of course, after the auction, I have these Luddites that contact me after the auction going, and they start showing me like timestamps going, see, in reality, and here's what I tell them: you've wasted your time and mine, most importantly, because what I tell them is that the lag evens out after the show, but during the show, there's depending on how slow your speed is, there can be anywhere from 7 to 10 second differential to, if it's a really bad lag, several minutes. Here, it seems like I expected it to be about 7 to 10 seconds, so that's good. But yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like I said, just trying this out, testing it out, kind of thing. You know, but I am going to start running live shows on here. It'll be everything from what you see back here, like comic books, to, you know, sport cards, comics, like you see on the wall behind me, or rare militaria, like this Sawtooth 1914 World War I German Sawtooth bayonet. Yeah, and it's hella fucking rare. That's an actual battle used one from 1914. A lot of reproductions of these. That's a real one. I got the original scabbard with it too. Look at those teeth. So it's like a sword bayonet. So a little thing on this. I'm actually going to do a video that I post that's about this. But I want to do a series of videos, like educational videos. educating people. This is what I've done my whole life. So you will not, and this sounds arrogant, but you will not find anybody. I'll put it on the line. You will not find one person who is has a more diverse knowledge of antiques and collectibles than me. I promise you that. I'll put the title on the line. Okay, you know, I got some old title belts around here from fighting, but I'll put the title on the line. You know, you're not gonna find somebody who is as well rounded with Exonumia tokens, rare coins like that gold $5 gold piece on my finger, to rare pet up, you know, to sports, but I round it out. You know, you might find one person who, you might find some people who know more about cards than me, but if they go for a broad spectrum, they're not going to be able to stand. They're not even going to be able to stand a chance against me on rare art. Like I can appraise rare art. I can appraise rare art. You know, that's an absolute fact. You know, that's fucking kind of a good pose here, aren't I, guys? I'm like right here. That's one for me when I'm doing my edits later. But no, for real though, like I said, I cover a broad spectrum. Someone wants to talk about rare bottles. I'll go toe to toe with people who are experts on rare bottles, because yours truly here, when he was a little boy, me, I'm talking like before the age of 10, I was going to I was actually mapping out old bottle dumps, mapping them out where they were at, where old abandoned bottle dumps were, and digging up rare bottles. Some of these bottle dumps have been used going back 200 years. And yet 200 years, yes, bottles have been around a long time. This one's late 1800s here. This one's from my hometown area in Petersburg, Virginia. I live in Florida now. E.A. Bain, Petersburg, Virginia. But I've dug up thousands. This is a torpedo shaped one. You see the pontoon at the bottom there. But I've got blob top bottles too and all. You want to go into old lighting? You can't see it on the camera here. I've got a Joan of Arc lamp on my desk here. It's Art Deco. You know, statuary. I can go there too. Transportation, advertising like barber poles, gas pumps, highway signs, gas station signs. You know, I'm right there. I do cut a good pose here, don't I, guys? Say cheese. But no, for real though, you know, I enjoy YouTube. I don't care if there's one person looking at me right now, but I feel freedom here. Whatnot sucks. Fuck Whatnot. And what I mean by that is fuck Whatnot. He's giving middle fingers. Because on Whatnot, I can't even do this. Because it's called Woke Not. But hell, I probably can't even bring this out on Whatnot. They'd be like, oh my God. But they'll have people getting damn near nude on Whatnot. There was a guy, I remember a while back, some dude thought, you know, who was one of the amateurs that thought Whatnot was seriously. Actually, yeah, there is a lot of fake shit sold on Whatnot too, including counterfeit shit. Don't buy, if you're buying coins on Whatnot, beware. Most of these people on Whatnot that are they're influencers, a lot of them they're being given merchandise to sell by Whatnot. They don't know what the fuck they're talking about. So, um, um, what was that guy's name? It'll come up in a minute. There's this fucking pussy that's actually Whatnot staff. I'll get his name. Michael Barbary. Dude's like one of the biggest pussies of all time. I mean, that guy bleeds. Fuck, his pussy bleeds at night. Let me look him up real quick. I don't even see him on Facebook no more. He must have fucking hid from me or something. This guy, I was talking to him. They keep trying to pay me to do shows. Dude, it ain't worth it. It's, look me. They reek of being, Whatnot reeks of being MySpace. They should call it My Whatnot or Whatnot Space. They should call it Whatnot Space. It's absolutely the biggest joke. But this one guy on staff, Michael Barbary, I was talking to him on this cell phone here at this desk, and he was trying to get me to be one of their influencers on Currency. So I figured, they've got him talking to people, right? This guy, Michael Barbary. I figured they had this, they had a pretty smart guy who was fielding potential influencers, right? And so I was like, okay, I figure I'm talking to somebody who's smart. Okay. This son of a bitch, and Susan was here for that. This son of a bitch was freaking on the phone with me, and something came up about my serving in the military, and he goes, "Oh yeah, my grandfather served in the military." I'm like, "Oh really?" And he goes, "Yeah, he served back in the 1970s." He goes, "Look, I swear to you, look," he said, he fought back in the 1970s, and he's in some war, but I can't remember what war it was. And I'm like, what? And of course, out of my mouth, real quick, you mean the Vietnam War? Because we pulled out of Vietnam in '75 officially, our last people, but it wasn't. We had people up there in Vietnam much later. That's another story. I can educate you on that. But the official final pullout was '75, but this guy was telling me about his grandfather who served in the military, and he couldn't tell me. Like, he goes, "Yeah, my grandfather fought in some war back in the 1970s, but I don't know which war it was." And I'm like, "You mean you can't tell me if he fought fucking Adolf Hitler or he was fighting along the Ho Chi Minh Trail?" And I was floored. I was absolutely floored. I was like, what? This son of a bitch was like, "Yeah, my grandfather fought in some war in the 1970s, but I couldn't tell you what war it was in." I'm going, "Well, the U.S. was in all sorts of wars in the 1970s. Not." So, but he literally could not tell you that. And I'm like, that's bad. You got somebody who's representing a company that's trying to be serious, and this fucking goddamn Gen Z fuck couldn't tell me what war his goddamn grandfather fought in the 1970s. I'm going, kind of strange. Oh, yeah. It's funny money. It's funny money as shit. No, I'm totally. I ran my last show there the other day. What are you eating? Trying to get it to go. See, I'm holding this and that. See. But Oh my God, no, the buyers are dumb. But let me just tell you something, okay? On Whatnot, okay? I'm putting up ball cards. I unloaded a bunch of ball cards on there. When a sharp centered 1985 Topps Kirby Puckett rookie, Hall of Fame baseball player for the Twins, long live his soul. He's passed away a long time ago. But when his rookie card, I put it up twice, and at $1 start, and it didn't get a bid. It was sharp corners, dead centered. I had 2 of them at night. Now 1 sold. And then another night, I put the same card up again, starting at $1. It only sold for $3 fucking bucks. $3 fucking bucks. And I'm like, and this isn't a rare card, but one would conclude that a Kirby Puckett Hall of Famer rookie card from 1985 in sharp dead center condition, which if you get it graded by PSA, I prefer SGC for the record, but if you get it graded by PSA, is going to bring a couple $100 at a 10, and this one was probably at least a 9 raw, and which would be a near mint. And I was just floored. And like other stuff like Don Mattingly, a razor sharp Don Mattingly rookie, bought like $11. Even better than that, I had a Warren Spahn baseball card from 1965, razor sharp, dead centered, $4. I'll vomit in my mouth. And I honored it. I sent the card off. I didn't try to, renege on it or anything like that. But I'm like, oh my God. Let me give you an example, okay? This isn't mint, okay? This is about a VG plus, okay? The corners are nice on it, okay? I started that card. It's a 1976 Hank Aaron. That's his last regular issue Topps card. I started this card, this one right here, for a whole $10 start. I'm not starting Hank Aaron's, any of his original Topps cards. I don't give a fuck if it's the first or last. I'm not starting any of his cards in any grade for $1. So it turns around and sells for $2 or $3, and some fucker's skating away with it. All right, I'm not selling it for that, okay? And that's Whatnot. But I put this very card, a $10 start, which is more than fair, no bids. 3 different times, no bids. And I just like, what the fuck? Are you crazy? And it's like, but yeah, anyways, like I said, so I deal with variety of shit. That's Jack Dempsey's 48 leaf boxing card there. I deal with variety of shit. And one, like I said, just like this, I have the original sheath to this Sawtooth bayonet from it's a Swiss-made German 1914 Sawtooth bayonet. They were banned by the Geneva Conventions, and so here's what the German leadership told the Germans: if you want, you can cut off the saw teeth, or you can keep them. But if you keep the saw teeth on here, you carry these at your own risk. Why was that? Well, the Allied forces made it well known that this is 1914. This is during the World War. That any German caught with one of these sawtooth bayonets would not only be executioned on the spot, but they would be executioned with their own bayonet, with these saw teeth. And why the Allied forces were so upset about this wasn't made to defeat an opponent. This wasn't even made to kill an opponent. This was made to make someone suffer. It really is. I mean, you have to be a hateful piece of shit to do this, because this right here, once it went in, okay, you were ripping organs out. You were ripping guts out. That's what this was. This is one of the nastier blades in world history. It is, in my opinion, the most heinous blade in U.S. history. And a lot of people died at this, and this one was used. You see the clank marks at the top of it up here? See the clank marks? That's probably made against someone's bones, more than likely. These people didn't fuck around a whole lot back then. So all these different like clinks, chinks in the freaking steel. Yeah, really used. I mean, but these were made to affix to go, you know, on rifles. So they'd be fixed to the rifle, or you could hold it hand to hand here, there too. But like I said, Germans, there were Germans who did say, you know what, fuck it, I'll assume all the risk. If they catch me, they can kill me with the bayonet and rip my guts out. But if a German was caught in World War I with one of these, it was lights out. It was lights out. I mean, it was big time lights out. So hence a lot of them cut the teeth off. Hence, these are much rarer with the teeth. And there are a lot of ones where people have recut the teeth in there to make it look like the original, and it's not. So you have the ones that the German soldiers sawed off. They took the teeth off during World War I. Well, unethical people who are wanting to pass off fraud have recut them. This one's not. This is an original. Now, how you'll know is in here, you'll see that that's the original size fitting to here. So what will happen is you'll see that this will be shorter, and you'll see where they've cut this down, and you would see where it didn't fit, but they'd had to cut the steel down lower. It would be lower. So this is the full size. So this is actually the original blade here. And there are others who have cut fake ones. They've taken and removed this whole thing and made a whole new. Is it worth it? Yeah, because these are worth a bit of money. This one's about $1,000. Why is it $1,000? Well, because I have the original scabbard, leather scabbard right here. And frog, the frog being this piece right here that attaches at the belt and everything. That top portion here is the frog. This part, the part here and through here is the scabbard. That holds the bayonet sword. It goes in there. The frog is this piece that attached to the belt loop and everything. But yeah, real piece of world history here. Love it. Sorry, comic people, sport card people. That's real history. That's real history. But I love my history. I love what I do. But like I said, I wanted to come on here and shoot a little breeze with you and stuff. As far as Whatnot, I'm done with them. They're the damn worst. I've never seen a more unprofessional group of Gen Zs and millennials in my life. And if the owner of if the Whatnot founders want to do a live fight with me here on YouTube, I'll do it. They want to fight me, we can do it. Open challenge to the founders of Whatnot. You want to fight me? We'll do an MMA style fight. I'll finish you. Okay? I'll finish you. Okay? It'll be the last thing you see. It'll be the last thing you see. It'll be the last thing you see. More likely with you on your back. And, lights out. You'd already pee yourself. You wouldn't even get in the ring with me. But I promise that. No, I promise that. But yeah, anyways, I will be doing a catch wrestling, submission wrestling competition in England. My goal is for this summer to compete. That real competition. I'm not talking about some jellyfish founders and whatnot. They're always welcome to. I would love to do that. That would be really delicious if they wanted to take me on. dude, those guys would have a coronary if they saw me in person and were thinking they're going to have to go against, because you're not seeing me beside other people on the screen. I'm cutting. I'm staying heavyweight for my catch wrestling. I'm staying heavyweight and cutting down to like 245. So that gives you an idea of my size, and it's not fat. You know, it's some fat. I gotta get off me, but it's a lot of fucking. It's a lot. It's a lot of there's a lot of quality beef here. But you know, and I didn't get battle wounds like this by accident, you know, or between my eyes, or stitches I've had above my eyebrows, or you can't see it right now, but I bit through here in a fight one time. You know, I didn't get them by accident. But yeah, those guys are jokes. They're an absolute embarrassment to collectible market. Have nothing for them personally. What are they going to do? Come after me on here? YouTube don't care about whatnot, especially. YouTube be glad that I'm back here. I put asses in the seats. I mean, I don't have much people on here right now, but my subscribers are going up. And it'll go up exponentially once I start firing up the machine again. You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna post some videos like where they're not live, but like educational videos. Like I said, it might be about certain things like bottles, glassware, antiques, collectibles, and some of them may be about political matters. Yeah, it might be about political type matters like Veterans Affairs stuff. I will be putting the Department of Veterans Affairs on social media blast, and let them know what time it is, because they're terrible. You want to talk about something worse than whatnot, is the Department of Veterans Affairs. They hate veterans. We do not. We love veterans. We even hire veterans, and they'll even get their public affairs to get a couple of dozen veterans to do TV commercials saying how wonderful it is. This is the director of certain VAs or the secretary of VAs golf playing buddies, butt buddies, wife swap fuck buddies. These aren't people. You talk to most veterans, they are not happy with the VA. And there's actually a Republican in Congress right now that's looking to introduce legislation to have all the VA's health care outsourced to the civilian community, which it should have been done a long time ago. The VA themselves cannot handle veterans medical. They can't. They can't even handle primary care, much less that. Well, thank you for that. I appreciate that, Gotham City. They absolutely they can't. The VA cannot even handle. They cannot even handle primary care, and I got plenty of witnesses to this. They cannot even handle primary care, much less things like psychiatric help, psychology clinic, chiropractic, orthopedic. They're backed up, and they hate it when. So a thing called community care that's used to community care with the VA is a program that's used to source out veterans to community providers in their network. So like right now, like tomorrow, I'll go to a chiropractor outside the VA because the VA is basically incompetent. And if you see the VA's chiropractic clinic, it's a joke. They're way not up to date. I mean, you might find maybe there's a couple of VA chiropractic clinics in the VA, and they'll point to that one and go, look at that one. Well, maybe if I was living in fucking, Monrovia, I'm making this up, Monrovia, California, or in, somewhere in Illinois, I'm making this up. Maybe there's that one couple of clinics that they have that nice, they have the nicer stuff, that whatever. But for the most part, it's a bunch of crap. I looked at what the chiropractic clinic here in Vieira, Florida, and Orlando had, and I'm like, But they the VA, by the end of this decade, the VA is going to be administrative. They'll handle administrative, and they can't even handle the administrative. That's why there's all these law firms that have opened their doors to taking in Veterans Affairs cases. They can't even handle that. They're the fact. I would say the only Social Security Administration might be worse. I said might be worse. Might be worse. Might be worse. But I don't even know about that. You have to be pretty bad to be worse than the VA. I would say well, I don't know, because I say with Social Security has mishandled their money, but VA has too. They need clean so much. I sincerely pray that the Trump administration changes something for the better with the VA. I got a friend that's getting ready to get out the Air Force, and I've already told him. He says he has insurance outside the VA. I said, you better get down and kiss the ground and thank God that you got alternative insurance. I said, because the VA, like PRP injections, like for helping heal up scar tissue. I sure hope so, man. I hope he does. I hope he does, because you know what? I mean, Democrats can get upset all they want, but the Democrats truly who will fail are the ones who don't understand the referendum that was given by the public, the majority. I mean, when Pennsylvania votes Republican, you better think that there's some smoke and some fire. Do they block that word? Well, I got news for them. They're gonna YouTube's gonna fucking have to come to the table with Trump, because they're next. Just like they got Zuckerberg to bend his knee, they'll get YouTube to bend their knee. They better, they'll find themselves on the other side of that big gate. But for real though, I hope they do make a change for the better for the veterans. At the end of the day, I'm an issue-related person. I could care less about someone's party affiliation. I care about the issues that people bring to the table. What can they do to better that issue? What can they do to make better changes? And when Biden first got elected, I didn't like him because I met Biden numerous times when I used to work in Washington, D.C. on Capitol Hill, when I worked up there full time, lobbying for Veterans Affairs and defense legislation. And no, it is right and wrong. It's not political. It's right and wrong. But the Democrats that are going to fail are the ones who keep sticking their head in the sand and are running their mouths still, saying the same fucking thing. And I'm going, keep on. Keep on. But they'll keep spinning their wheels. The majority of the people said this: money talks and bullshit walks. Money talks and bullshit walks. And the Democrats were doing all this feel-good stuff and de-sexing, sexing, and doing all this other shit, and worried about the color of someone's skin and all this bah humbug, and not worrying about the real shit. And that was the average everyday people, which include every ethnic, racial, sexual background of money. When people are paying 3 times as much for gas, 3 times as much for food, 3 times as much for utilities, 3 times as much for every fucking thing, and 3 times as much for mortgage rates and rent and everything else. And they see all the mom and pop businesses closing, and people like you and me, Gotham, or anybody else that might watch this later, little people who struggle, it's serious. I've watched people who were, there's upper middle class, and then there's wealthy, and then there's rich, and then there's, your people who start getting into hundreds of millions and all that kind of crap. But I've seen upper middle class and wealthy people who are worth, well over millions. I've seen them lose their ass in the last 4 years. I mean, I say lose their ass, I'm talking, I'm not going to name names because I love these people, but no, I mean, I literally watch people who were, I'm talking living fat. I'm talking, could go and buy an amazing fancy 15, lose their homes, families, divorced, up behind a poor economy. And that's heartbreaking. I mean, coming from me, I'm a little rough and tumble, peddling Pete, like the old fight kind of thing. I'm a nice guy, guys. I'm a good guy, and I worry about a lot of people. I give a fuck about people, especially my veterans and stuff. But I give a fuck about family and friends. I give a fuck about a stranger on the street. As long as they're trying their best to make the best of themselves in this world. But I saw some people lose everything, including family. And go, family, the economy, yeah. Money breaks up marriages quicker than anything else, more than cheating. You can go to any psychologist and do any study, find out money causes fights between friends. Go borrow $5,000 from a friend and don't pay him back and find out what happens. Even if you're trying your best, go find out what happens. It is what it is. But like I said, I've seen people who have lost their businesses, their homes, their families. And then the Democrats were expecting some people to come back around, and people can go and use all the excuses they wanted, because if that shit show had happened on Trump's watch, they'd be saying the polar opposite and be talking about how, yes, it's Trump's fault. They'll go and go, no. The president or the political people don't determine the economy. I go, really? When the economy is good, they're all like, yay, me, the economy, right? Woo! Something great happens, they're there for the ribbon cutting ceremonies, the awards, and party shit, streamers going everywhere, and party horns, and turn our hat sideways and backwards, and everything's wonderful, and singing songs and kissing babies. No. If you're willing to take all the applause for the good, you better be ready for the bad too. So it goes like that. You better be ready for both. So I'm on here testing it out. Just seeing here. If you're listening, Gotham or somebody right now, as soon as I say lag test, make a comment. Lag test. Okay, that's good. That's real good. Triple C, triple crotch critters. But drinking some protein drink here. It's cheap. It's affordable. Well, I used to drink the really good stuff, Fairlife, but I can't afford that. That's like fucking $5-6 a bottle now. If you see it below $5, it's like, wow, waka on sale. What's up there, Ben? But I've it's like that. Like I said, just Empty. I don't have a gag reflex. I can chug. I could win. I've won contests in college like that. Real easy when you got drunk people at parties making dumb bets and they don't realize you don't have a gag reflex. But it is what it is. Hence, I got a big mouth and I can keep talking for hours. But reality. Well, I that's what I'm thinking, and that's one of the reasons why I'm back here. I believe, for one, I'm seeing more. Answer me this: are you seeing more sellers of the old school sellers opening back up, running shows on Facebook Live? Because I've noticed that, but maybe I'm wrong. I've seen them on Facebook appearing more, and I'm seeing them appear on YouTube and Instagram. Particularly on Facebook, I've seen it. Because remember back in the old days, anytime you went on Facebook, it was a bunch of people running live shows. And of course, I'm one of the patriarchs. I'm one of the first, probably, I would say easily, I'm one of the first 10 sellers who was running live comic book auctions on Facebook Live and sport cards. I did both. I was running sport card breaks, comic auctions, and I would sell coin, like I got that gold coin ring. I would sell coins on there too, but it was mainly comics and sport cards. But I did that in 2016, back when they were doing the live, when Facebook Live was a very new thing, was a very new experience. I don't know. Did you notice anything, Gotham or Compton or anybody? I mean, so someone can comment later too. But I noticed that there was also, like I said, I noticed that I've seen more traffic starting to happen since the new year and leading up to inauguration. I'm starting to see an uptick. And I think a lot of this has to do with Zuckerberg loosening up on the algorithms and controlling them. I've noticed that. I noticed that my comments and stuff and posts don't get flagged as much. Well, I like YouTube for one, it's easier to use. Facebook is hella difficult to use. Facebook's hella difficult to use. So you might see me on a screen this big, but the screen that I see on my end, they changed it about 3 years ago, almost 4 years ago. So on my end, the screen's like this big, and the comment thing's way over here this big. But I can make the screen bigger from my end right here on the computer if I eliminate the comments. And I'm like, I have to see the comments to run a show. So that was frustrating with Facebook. YouTube, I do have more freedom to say what I want to say. Whatnot, I didn't. Whatnot, people are like, it was so funny, Gotham. People on Whatnot who didn't know me from Facebook Live or YouTube were like, wow, he really says, he's really brazen and outspoken on Whatnot. And I'm like, really? No. No. I'm like, you have no idea, buddy. Like, you need to come and listen to me on a YouTube live jam session. I'm like, I'm brutal. I am the church of the painful truth. I'm the church of the painful truth. But no, for real though, these like Gen Zs and millennials that didn't know shit from shampoo about collectibles, and most of them don't. You hear these guys on there, they don't know what the sellers too. Like I said, that one Whatnot executive, Michael Barbary, that guy didn't know shit from shampoo about collectibles. He was recruiting me to sell currency on their like rare currency on their platform. He approached me. And this son of a bitch didn't know what numismatic meant. He didn't know what, the collecting of money, the scientific name of collecting money was, numismatics. I'm like, he literally didn't. And he couldn't. He says, yeah, my grandfather fought in, he fought in a war in the 1970s, but I couldn't tell you what war it was. I'm like, What? What do you mean you don't know what war? How many wars do you think the U.S. was in the 1970s? But I swear to you, on my mother's ashes, my dad's grave, and all of my family's grave, that's what he told me on this very phone at this very desk. I was like, what? I'm like, are you kidding me? You don't know your grandfather served and fought in the war in the 1970s, and you don't know what war he fought in? All right. All right there, Michael Barbary. You you obviously know or blow somebody at whatnot. That's the only way you got that job. Fucking clown. Big time clown. And that's what they got. They're a culmination of clowns. You had that one loser, nerdy girl, and that one called Melinda's Tits or whatever, and they were sketching comic books. They were making comic books with this bitch on there with her like, and her tits looked like on the comic books, the tits, like it was like cartoons of her naked on the cover. The girl selling the books on there. And, they had they had artists that do different covers for her. The tits looked gross. Like the nipples were like swollen looking, like a hot dog that's been cooked too long in the microwave, man. She had like sausage tits. I'm like, what? No. Why would I pay? And yet these morons that were paying. I heard there's some cases where people paid over $1,000 for some of the fucking. It's a 1-of-1 cover of her. I'm going. Maybe if it was an official Marvel or DC product, or 1-of-1 of like Spider-Man or something. I'm like, it was the craziest shit people were paying for. It was some dumb shit that went on there. That nerdy girl one night, from where I stood, was wearing just a stupid hoodie. And even she was like, what the fuck? She's wearing a hoodie, just a hoodie. And some dude on the comment feed was like, I want to buy your hoodie. I'll pay you this much. And she sold him the hoodie off of her back because she's wearing it. And I guess he had a Woody for her. He had a Woody for her in her hoodie. I'm going, look, we got massage parlors right here in Florida. Okay, the good ones. When I say the good ones, I'm talking about the ones with barred windows, foil paper or tinted windows, and it says open, and you see that this son of a bitch is open past midnight. You can promise that's a good massage parlor. Someone's like, what do you mean good massage? I'll tell you what it means. It means you will get a happy ending. Probably will get a happy fucking. Okay? Those are good massage parlors. How do you know, Pete? Read between the lines. But I'm just telling you, okay? Fucking, before I go pay some fucking fat bitch fucking $500 for their stupid hoodie or whatnot, I promise you, I'm going to go to a massage parlor and get full service. They don't leave the house. That's fucking, dude, you're not lying. Because I've run into some of these people. And, it's funny. I've paid several people a visit who thought that they weren't thinking about where I was at in relation to them. And I paid them a visit. I let my fingers do the walking like the old Yellow Pages. Went and visited them. And, of course they change, it's all in fun, man. It's all in fun until they see me, and I'm like this wide and they're like this, and I'm looking at them, then they're all of a sudden apologetic. But, and I hate that because I like being nice people. I can sit down. One of my friends that I've made friends with here, we're totally polar opposite. He's probably never been in a fight in his life and wouldn't want to get in a fight. And, I'm a nerd. I like hanging with nerds. I can hang with jocks too. I can hang with people who are average Joe, Jane. But I'm a nerd. I'm a fucking nerd. My whole house is a museum of nerddom. I just happen to be a nerd who can whip some ass, okay? And I like that. But I've had people who, since the live video shit, because I've been dealing in antiques and collectibles my entire life. My grandmother got me in it. I've been in coin collecting since literally age 4. I know how I learned to read, and I've got a genius IQ, both in math and reading comprehension, etc. But I learned to read the good old-fashioned comic books. My uncles had comic books, and I would sit there and I cut my teeth. My uncles had comic books from the 60s. My dad's brothers, and I was reading their comic books. I also was getting broke in on Playboy and Penthouse. I'd break into that as a little kid. So got my start on hot. Damn, that's what I like. And my mom's like, my son's straight. But so for real though, I mean, it's but I learned to read with comic books, and all. But so some people though, they get to run in their mouth. They don't think about where I'm at geographically, or if I love to drive. I've driven from the east to the west coast several times over. I've driven north of the U.S. border and south of the U.S. border. I love traveling. So I'll be like Bill Bixby on the original Hulk series. Don't make me angry. You wouldn't like when I'm angry. But for real though, I don't like that. I like being this guy who I can sit and we can just talk about nerd shit. That's me. I like that kind of shit, or hot women. I like my hot women, like there, that kind of thing. I got that because that's like an old Spencer's thing. I was actually in I got that. You would not believe, Miss 69 over here. I got a ton of these things. I got a ton of pinup stuff in the back. But I got that. I was in Emporia, Virginia. I was going up to Virginia to visit some family and friends and work some business deals. That was the one where I pulled a Fantastic Four #1, 1961 from on that deal. But this one right here, 69, I was coming back from Florida, going to Emporia, Virginia. And what do you know? I'm in there buying antiques and shit, and he had that sitting there, and I said, throw that in, we got a deal. He's like, oh hell, why not? But it's like an original, it's got the original frame and everything, but you could buy them like that. They're about and they had all these different, the classic kind of Baywatch pinup girls, and threw it in, pop culture. They actually have appreciated the old stuff. Like I got a Kathy Ireland's Budweiser big stand up over here, that stuff, and I've got a Killian's Red one over here, and several other. But the old beer pinup posters, or like stuff like Milwaukee Tools, like but the old tool companies had the pinup posters. That stuff from the 80s and 90s and early 2000s are coming of age. People are going out to find it and realizing, oh shit, I can't find it. There was these pinup posters. Do you remember, guys? Any guy who got a boner ended up getting for women, ended up buying Star Makers posters. You may not realize that was a company. Down the bottom said Star Makers, and there were certain models they would put on these Star Makers posters, or multiple models, but it's by Star Makers. One word, Star Makers. Those actually have in money. I have had that standee. I had that fucking Elvira standee, buddy. And I had a guy come in my shop. I had it for a fucking week. Because, I've had several brick and mortar storefronts. And he just had to have it. His wife's right there. And he's turning to his wife. She's like, I don't mind Elvira. And he looks at me and starts making me offers. And he made me an offer that I just couldn't refuse. I'm like, I'm going to regret selling this. But if I don't sell this, my mom's going to kick the fuck out. Because my mother and I were the white mother and son version of Fred and Lamont Sanford from Sanford and Son. My mom would have absolutely chokeslammed me if I didn't, if I didn't sell it for that price. I was just like, okay. Nice. Yeah, I got Betty Page stuff around here. I've got a big Betty Boop Statue of Liberty torch lamp. It's a massive one over here. You know, it's hold on. Oh, look at that. Scarlett's over here too. You got some stand up back there, Betty Boop. I got a little bit of everything in this house. You know. Oh, that lamp's huge. That didn't do it any justice because it's looking down at it. It's about a 3.5 foot tall lamp. I'm never selling it. You could offer me $1,000 right now, and here's the look on my face. Someone offers me $2,000 for this. That bitch is going. So then I said I never would. And it'd be worth it actually. I was doing some research on it. The company that made that, it's huge. I mean, it's like sitting on top of a countertop. It's massive. It's at least 3.5 foot tall. It's high quality made. But that's there's less than, I'm talking about Betty Boop over here. Yeah, there's less than 500 of her that were made, and how many of them were broken? It's hard to tell. How many were lost? How many been in floods? You know, how many were burned in the California fires or North Carolina mudslides? You know, drowned in the mudslides, or just anything. Just over time, not many that many left. Not that many left. You know, just how well it goes. You know, I like the unique stuff. You know, I told my ex-wife that, and she said no shit. But yeah, I'm a little comedian there. Not to throw the ex-wife in that thing, but woo, Coke Zero time. Coke Zero, not regular Coke. Coke Zero. Because I'll have someone go, "Hey, champ, you're drinking Coke Zero," because I'm, you know, I don't have an official match set yet. But I'm talking to a promoter. I've talked a couple of times to a promoter briefly about, you know, competing in catch wrestling competition over in England. And can you still do it? I wrestle every day right now, just about, you know. I'm coaching high school wrestling this season, and, you know, I've got my, if you go look at my videos on here, I've got a ton of training videos. I have a ton of training videos, and I ain't talking about just going to the gym and lifting some dumbbells. Like, I'm talking doing like circuit training, CrossFit type shit. To include feats of strength and other shit. But I think the other night I did, it's not, for me, it's not a lot of weight. I did 315 with deadlifts for 120 reps. Not consecutive. I was doing like 12, 15 at a time. But I was doing that in between, nonstop in between circuits, like rowing machine, you know, medicine ball slams, that kind of thing. So I'm in the core strength stuff. That's why I got the neck muscles and chest muscles, you know, and the guns. And the gun show. That's how you do an elbow, guys. Uppercut. Downward. Slice them and dice them. I actually I roll my forearms with rolling pins. They've been hardened with rattan sticks, and you know, I mean, I started up practicing forearms on cement columns, so these forms are pretty hard. But that'd be for the street. That wouldn't be for catch wrestling. I do use it if I'm running a half Nelson. I'll take the bone here and run it across the back of their cranium, and I put my weight to it, and I'll run that across there, and then come up under their pit, clamp here, and run them to their back. They'll do it. It hurts. I've been teaching my wrestlers this, And I don't know what happens in their matches, but those little fuckers, they don't listen. They'll be in the match and gently put their arm across there. They might even use the fat of their arm instead of the bone. Use the bone, but they'll use the fat of their arm there and then lightly push against their opponent's head and then make a half-ass little tickle little fingers to go under their pit. By this time, the person's exploded up. And I've seen a few of them, though, that do it. And when they do it, their opponent's immediately like, I hear, I'm like, you're doing it fucking right. Great. You know, I even heard one kid fucking scream for help for the referee and his coach, you know, because my wrestler was doing it right. I said, saw their head off because their other wrestler will be prone on the ground, and they'll take that forearm bone and run it right across the back of their neck and then lace up under that pit and run that half. And but yeah, I could talk to you about anything. Like I said, we can get on nerd stuff. I can talk to you about Platinum Age comics, Victorian Age comics. There's Victorian Age comics. Yep, sure is. There's Georgian Age comics. There's Victorian Age. There's the Pioneer Age and Platinum Age comics, and then there's Golden Age. And yeah, and I have on this very live feed at this desk, I have sold comic books from the Victorian Age. I sold a CGC slabbed one that was, listed in the Overstreet price guide. Don't forget Caveman Comics. Correct. Caveman Comics too on the stone tablet. But yeah, I love comic books. I mean, I could talk about them all day long. I like Archie stuff. I like this I Love Lucy one. It's just pretty damn cool. It's pretty goddamn timeless. Just I like simple stuff that the comics I like probably a lot of other people would not like. It's stupid shit that it's like, it's, like I said, I like stuff that's it can have no rhyme or reason. This is pretty goddamn cool. Gotham City. I guarantee you've never had this. Well, it's not necessarily. Now this here's a lot of people want this. I'm thinking about getting it graded just for me. Oh, it's a badass. It's not easy to find. Most of these, you find them, they're beat the fuck up. This one's probably a very fine grade. It's nice. It's at least probably a 7 or so. Most of these you find were beat the fuck up. That's 1966, October 66. The magazine for Matt Fans. So this was a real tag team. The National Wrestling Alliance, back when Adam West Batman was the biggest thing on TV, they created a tag team that ran around the duration of the original TV show, and they came in the ring as good guys. And of course, they always had them win. They weren't going to lose, and because they were good guys, And this is back in the '60s when, we're still Leave It to Beaver and shit. So they ended up, of course, when Adam West and all that shit went off the air, these guys disappeared. I haven't done much more history on them. I can easily find out who, especially through the Wrestling Hall of Fame, who played these, who the actual wrestlers were, but I'm not sure if they were actual, big time ones or whatever. But But I have a lot of different wrestling magazines because I love pro and amateur wrestling. I have a lot of both of stuff relating to that era. Like I said, I like boxing. I like anything combat arts. Like that's a Rocky Marciano 1951 Topps rookie. That is Rocky Marciano's rookie. That's his rookie card. So one of the first comics when I was a kid that was in my uncle's stash that I read was this one. I'll never sell it. I was just mesmerized as a kid. When I say how far this goes back, it was before I even learned to fucking functionally read. And I just thought, what in hell? Superman's a fish? How can he be a fish? As an adult, what I appreciate is the color coordination, the green and red Superman trade dress. That red goes with his cape. The green goes with his fishtail and her fishtail, and the green water and the red letters down here also go with her very deep pink dress, and the yellow background really stuff. I like stuff like that. So I could talk nerd. I mean, I could talk nerd all day long. I've always, my dad fashioned himself as a badass, and he was a badass. And I remember as a kid, I thought, I thought this guy was cool, the Annihilator. I know I'm stupid, but as a kid, I saw this cover for Action Comics here. It's a 12 center Silver Age, and I thought, it says, he's the son of the Annihilator, and I thought maybe I could be this guy and free my dad and Superman. Kids think dumb things, man. But, because I wanted to be as badass as my dad. He's a Vietnam veteran. My dad was a construction worker. He helped build one of the world's trade centers. He built all these huge skyscrapers and bridges. He was known for brawling at the bars, that kind of shit. My dad, built like a truck, my dad. So I was like, yeah, son's fighting for his dad. So I thought that was badass. Super Merman. I love it, man. How can you not like that? How can you not like that? That is just badass. Super Merman. I mean, he's getting 2 for 1. He's a real player. I mean, he's getting pussy and fish pussy all in one. And he's getting a brunette and a redhead. He's winning. He is balls deep right there. Superman has gone balls fucking deep. This one here. So I've read the whole run of Scalp Hunter. I read comics. I still will read comics. Give me a whole big stack of farm fresh comics. I'll read them. I'll read a whole comic sitting on the shitter. Okay? That's the library for me. But this one here has to be the coup de grace. Abraham Lincoln versus the Scalp Hunter in an arm tangled and clinched in an arm wrestling match with George Washington on the background. Look, you see George Washington. He looks concerned. Look at him back there. President George is watching Abe go at it. Abe is fucking jacked. He's been in the gym. That's badass. That is just beyond badass. And there's some other crazy Scalp Hunter covers. They would never, even in Trump's administration, get away with a Scalp Hunter series ever again. Personally, I'm actually Native American with my blue eyes because that's German in me, but don't bother me. I've shown this cover to quite a few of my full blood Native friends, and they're all thinking it's badass. I've had several ask me of my Native American friends be like, "Hey, why did they do away with that character?" I go, "Because of the name." They're like, "That's stupid." They said that's stupid. I'm like, so was changing the Redskins name to the Commanders. Can you think of a more campy name of the Commanders? Super Friends is more than the Commanders. I can't be a Commanders fan. How can I be a Commanders fan? That sounds dumb. Anyways, badass cover. I like the blue moon. How about the blue moon? Is anybody addressed and did the trade dress and the moon match each other? It's a 5-color comic. Another one that goes back. I saw this comic when I was in 4th grade. Yes, I've had this comic book since I was in 4th grade. No, I'll never sell it. This comic is on like my penis. It's not going nowhere. I don't know. I just, you know what I was thinking? She's talking about the guys on the ship. And as a little kid, maybe I'm the little kid there, except I wasn't a redhead. Now, as a little kid, I thought these were some fine looking girls because I was a kid back then. I was 4th grade. But I was thinking, I kept asking myself, kids, we think literal. We're like going, I'm thinking, can these guys really see them from the ship? The answer is actually yes. I wouldn't put it by some fucking Navy guys, some seamen to be fucking getting their scopes out, especially back in the 1960s like this, checking out the ladies on the beach. But they're doing recon, okay? So they're doing their duty for country, okay? I just love stuff like this. This right here, a lot of Hulk covers grab me. Hulk 181 grabs me. Even as a kid, as a little kid, I had Hulk 181. Do you know where I first read that? My uncles had it. Couldn't tell you they got it anymore. It's gone now. But I bought one again through Mile High Comics. You know how Mile High back in the day had a back issue section, and you could go send in, like it had like a thing where you could send in your list of what you wanted by mail order. I sent in for $10.50. I got me a Hulk. Now this isn't Hulk 181. I'm not saying that, okay? But same time period about. But I got my original Hulk 181 through mail order. And that was lost in my house fire. Certain things were lost in the house fire. That was one of them, among other things, including my Mickey Mantle signed photo. That's another story. I just love this one. Just captures emotion here. I identify with Hulk on here because I've had some people who hurt my friends, and then I've turned around and fucked them up. And Rhino's always been a bastard. Never liked him. And I kind of feel like that's Hulk charging toward Rhino. But as a kid, that caught my wonderment. That caught my wonderment. I don't know why, but me growing up, this comic captured my imagination. I just, for whatever reason, it just spoke to me. Plus, I like telephone booths anyways. I will get a telephone booth in this house. What? Telephone, I've had them before. I've had telephone booths before. I already got a barber pole in this house. It's running right over there right now as we speak. I'll turn the camera to it in a second. But I just like that one. This is a more recent comic. I just like it because she looks sexy as shit. I actually know a girl who looks like her, but yeah, but looks sexy as shit. I'd be in trouble there. I'd have to ask God. I'd have to ask this man right here to save me from her. Jesus. This comic, when it came out, I was in junior high, and I remember this one capturing my imagination. I mean, to the nth degree, this one captured my imagination because there was Jesus Christ looking over Spider-Man. He's watching over the fight. This has to be Jesus. This might be, no, Jesus appeared in Bronze Age Ghost Rider. That's for sure. But this has to be Marvel Comics' first appearance of Jesus on the cover. How about that, guys? Now, what if Jesus showed up at a Comic-Con? What if Jesus signed this? How much would it be worth? It'd be worth more than Stan Lee's autograph for sure. Can you imagine? Or maybe I just found a Spanish guy named Jesus. Am I lying? Jesus, Christo signs it. Boom, I'm done. I'm over. I've got the only Jesus, and I take Jesus with me to a certified guy. I have him show his driver's license. I have, Jesus Alvarez, sign this one with Jesus on here, right? Boom. I'm not lying, right? And it says signed by Jesus on the CGC label, and the CGC witness looked at Jesus Alvarez's driver's license and said, sure was him. Boom! Gold label, signed by Jesus. Witness signature, literally like witnessing, like Christians witnessing for Christ. The return. This was such a great read. There was a run of Spider-Man ASM somewhere in the late, somewhere around like 85 to like 91 was just really good reading. 85 and 90. I hate to break your guys' heart, but Carnage's first appearance. I like Larson's artwork. See, I can talk nerd with you. I like Erik Larsen's artwork, but the stories to me became much more complicated. I actually could put a pinpoint to it. It was when he married Mary Jane Watson. They made when he married Mary Jane Watson and the Amazing Spider-Man. I think it was annual. Was it 2022 something like that? But when they did that, they complicated it. When he married Mary Jane Watson, then they started making him more sophisticated and complicated and all this other shit. I like my Spider-Man, the angry Spider-Man that killed the Green Goblin, whether it was by accident or not. But you know that the cover ASM 120 122, where he's standing over top of he's cringing, and he's like, you know, he's holding Gwen Stacy, and Goblin's flying over top laughing, and he's like, you killed the only woman I loved, and you're going to die. I've been that mad before. How mad he catch him with the tingling coming from his head, and he's like wrong. You killed the only woman I'm going to love, and now you're going to die. And I've been that angry. I don't want to go into details about it because I'll get kind of nasty, but I've been that mad. Like fucking the Crow kind of mad. So this one here, if my mom was still alive, my mom was a female cop, I would have had her sign this. I don't give a fuck if whatever, if people want her signature or not, but if I could have got my mom to sign this, that'd have been fun because she was a female cop. I would have totally had her sign it. I'd have taken her to a Comic-Con and had a witness verification with she signed it. I think it'd be fun. You know, it'd be kind of cool if I got like a World War II comic cover, like a war comic. Like, you know, like this isn't World War II. This is the Dinosaur Island thing, you know. But if I got like a war, like say like a World War II like themed comic, and I got a World War, some of the surviving World War II veterans, you know, to sign it and have a picture of them signing it, and, you know, get a picture of them with their driver's license and like go to the CGC and get them to verify that it was signed by these World War II veterans. Like, so that'd be kind of cool. See, I think of things like that. That to me is cooler. Like, I've got a William Shatner signed color art of the animated series 1972, but it's like a TV. It's like a newspaper version of TV Guide, but it's like comic book size. And it's called TV Channels, and Shatner signed it in silver for me. And I'll never sell that because, I mean, he signed it for me in person. And you know what he was obsessed with? My rings. He's like, he saw my rings. He goes, those rings. Now Shatner talks all like dramatic. He goes, those rings. Look at all those rings. You must tell me about each one of them. On that very dramatic William Shatner talk, right? And some fucking jellyfish GalaxyCon. It was in Richmond, Virginia. GalaxyCon. Some nerdy GalaxyCon staffer was going to come up behind him like kind of like, sir, we need to hurry. And he went like this as he's telling me, you know, I need to you must tell me the story behind these rings. All of a sudden, Shatner went like this. Had like an angry Shatner face, like, come on. He's like, and he had his fingers like shaking. And I was like, I got scared. Because, you know, I'm thinking you're going to hear, right? All of a sudden, that guy put the brakes on, stopped in his tracks. Shatner didn't even turn to him. He just went like that. And then the next thing you know, that guy just walked away. I didn't see, when I came back later for a photo session, I didn't see that guy. Like he had disappeared. I think Shatner was like, hey, that guy over here, I go where he goes. And they were like, hey, bitch, get to walking down the fucking Quick Mart. Go hitchhike over there at the BP station. But I didn't see that guy no more. And I'm like, dude, you don't fucking tell William Shatner to do shit. William Shatner does what he wants. Okay, he's a fucking 1,000-foot gorilla. He'll get any bushel of bananas he wants, right? So, anyways, look, as soon as he went like to that guy, as he was telling me, these rings, you must tell me about all of them. He went like he didn't turn to him. He's like he just it was like some Matrix kung fu shit where he didn't have to turn to the guy. He didn't have to say he just goes, and his fingers were quiver shaking like he's mad. And he turned, and the guy turned away, and Shatner looks at me and got like that grin and goes, "Proceed." I was like, and I just remember just thinking, oh my God, that guy just got the Shatner finger. I'm like, if Shatner gives you like the finger, you're fucked. Okay? Do not get the Shatner finger with a mean look. Like, come on. Because he was really pissed at the dude. And I was like going, here I am. Of course, Shatner's 90-something years old. I could throttle him probably. Who knows? He probably still kick my ass. But I shouldn't be afraid of him, right? But no, that scared me. I was like, oh my God. And he turns to me and goes, proceed. So I immediately pull my rings off, going, here, you go, look at this one. You want that one? You can have that one, And he's looking at my rings and I'm telling him stories about it. People behind me in line, because I already had expressed because I had a witness verification. So, and at the time I was recovering from an auto accident, so I'm in my wheelchair. So I got wheeled to the front of the line, and people, if you've been to one of these cons and you got in the line, the power of the finger he points it at, you're finished. Yes, finish him. Power finger, Shatner finger. I was like, holy shit on a fucking cracker, But Shatner looked at me and goes, proceed. After he did the mean face and the Shatner finger, he's like, proceed. And I'm showing him my ring, and I showed him my NCAA National Championship wrestling ring, and he told me that he had wrestled, that he'd done wrestling in high school and stuff, and was telling me about that. He wanted to know about my wrestling, and it was really cool. But yeah, that was the funniest goddamn shit. I was going through telling him about all these ones, and he loved the Masonic ring over here. He loved that one. He didn't say whether he was or wasn't, but he particularly thought the Masonic ring was cool. Of course, the Queen ring he thought was badass. But yeah, anyways, he loved my bling, and he wanted to know about these too. And I told him about that this was olive. He held it. He molested my ring. So my ring's off the shelf, guys. They're here on me. They're on like my penis. But yeah, this necklace has been molested by William Shatner, but it's pretty funny. He wanted to know about all the rings. So I got the true VIP experience. Shatner, these rings have been Shatnered. Good shit. I love this one because I have a sexual obsession with Lucille Ball, prime Lucille Ball. She used to be pit up before she was in Hollywood, in mainstream Hollywood. I mean, I could only imagine I would like to be that flute. Lucille Ball was fucking hot. They made her campy on the show, but you can only camp that up so much. That was a full-figured woman. That was all woman right there. I would drink her bath water. I love redheads, and God knows those heart-shaped lips. She's badass. I like how her lips match her damn vest. And the saxophone, see, they did really color coordinations, everything in art. The saxophone, the gold sax there, matches the yellow background. And look at her eyes. She's got green eyes. It matches this. On I Love Lucy, that kind of like that green teal, it matches her eyes. I thought that's kind of cool. And then you got the red Dell goes with the red here and her red lipstick. They did that color coordination, man. Older comics, they did such a better job at that. They did such a better job at that. Oh, I skipped over a few. This one. As a kid, I remember feeling sorry for the gorilla, that they were kind of being dickheads to him. And it's this story here. You can't pin a medal on a gorilla, featuring the only non-com who escaped from a zoo to join the Marines, Sergeant Gorilla. And as a kid, I just thought, that's badass. It's also a Joe Kubert cover, as you see there in the corner. The artist Joe Kubert. You see that little white little block there. Star Spangled War Stories. When you see that checkerboard up here, when you see the checkerboard above the trade dress, they only did that between 1966 and 67. So when you see that checker top for DC Silver Age, that was done between 1966 and 67. That's true, though. They did do that because gorillas did draw people, though. No, they did. That's absolutely a fact. Oh, no, you're right. They did do that. No, they did do that. That's a fact, too. So that was a good thing you pointed out. So DC would put, if sales were down, they would put a gorilla on the cover. And you got to think, this was done between 66 and 67. And comics were making a change. Marvel went through their true transformation in around that same time, between 67 to 68. They were giving Prince Namor his own title, Hulk his own title, Captain America's own title. They were doing upgrades on Black Widow, from the first Black Widow that looked more campy like a widow at church to the Scarlett Johansson sleek fitted sexy bombshell outfit. They changed her outfit. Daredevil got changes a lot. So there was a lot of changes in this time period, and they were trying dating issues. They were trying tons of dating issues. You get into from this period to the early 70s, they were trying night nurse, trying to draw women in. No, gorillas, they would. If sales were down, they'd throw a gorilla on the cover. And you think about it, right now, the dinosaurs, so Star Spangled War Stories, these Star Spangled War Stories that sell the most, and I'm talking about between Golden Age to Silver and Bronze Age, the Star Spangled War Stories that draw the most people, that sell the easiest, are Dinosaur Island, where they're battling dinosaurs, or like covers like this with this. There's another cover where the unknown, no, Sergeant Rock is putting on a not Sergeant Rock. The unknown soldier is doing an undercover mission, putting on a Hitler mask. And that's a big one. And yeah, but these are, again, but these sell. Dinosaurs was another one that they were doing. When they put the Dinosaur Island, they were throwing a Hail Mary, man. I mean, they were trying to lob a bomb. They were Star Spangled War Stories was a failing series until they put dinosaurs on. And as soon as they introduced dinosaurs, boom. So yeah, I this one right here, how long have I had this? I've had this one here, right here, since I was probably in 5th grade. I don't think maybe 5th grade. Talking about 85, 86. And that's how long I've been doing this. And you're going, well, but you weren't a seller. Okay. I am not a normal person. I am a weird motherfucker. Okay. I'm a weird motherfucker. Okay. I was a kid who had kids working for me, helping me dig. Like, remember I told you about going to bottle dumps? I would get shopping buggies going down to the bottle dumps, and I'd have kids helping me dig them. I'd pay them, and then we would take them, and I'd have them cleaned. I had board brush and everything. I'd pay them to help me do that, and then I would take the bottles. My mom would load them up in our car, and I would take them to the antique stores in my local area. And this is back when antique. There was no eBay. Antique stores, you had trucks of people lined up to do business, to sell, to buy. Auctions were all over the place, like weekend auctions that someone kicked over and died, or some collections being liquidated. I cut my teeth at the real, I got 100 over here. When I get it, 150, gotta go 150, 150, 150, looking for a 250, got 250, got a 3, that kind of thing. Yes, I can call an auction. So, but I was that kid. Like I'm talking like I was becoming entrepreneurial like as early as third grade, like 82, 83, as early as third grade. I opened my first booth in an antique mall in fifth fucking grade. And you're going, oh, right, it was a ha-ha thing. No. Like literally one of my teachers came to school, I had 2 booths at this antique mall at this point. And I remember I was fucking in 7th grade. And there was a guy named Mr. Minson who collected cards. He was a computer teacher. It was this early computer lab. I'm talking big floppy disk. And he came into the antique mall. I was not there. And he saw that I had a 1954 Topps Jackie Robinson baseball card, and he just had to have it, right? He had to have it. So the lady at the antique mall said, I can talk to the owner of that booth about, because he wanted to negotiate the price. Well, she calls up a guy on the phone named Pete. Right? She calls up a guy. And for all this guy knows, Mr. Minson, the teacher, the computer teacher, all he knows, I'm, she's talking to a guy that's Pete, like this. Pete talking deep like this, right? Nope. This is fucking back when I had a full head of hair. This is puffy fro, fucking rat tail. Yes, I had a rat tail mullet. Calls me up from my house on Norfolk Avenue in Colonial Heights, Virginia. Calls me up and says, hi, Pete. We have a customer here that's interested in your Jackie Robinson, and he was interested in a few other cards too, but particularly the Jackie Robinson. I said, ask him if he will be there in 10 minutes. She asked me, he said he'd wait. I'm coming down there. I ride there on my bicycle to do a deal on a card for 400 bills. Now that card's north of $1,000. And I ended up that day making damn near $1,000 just off him. I'm coming down there and I pull in, and the woman had been in the back, and I come into the shop and I'm talking to Mr. Minson. Right? And he has no clue that I'm the Pete that she's talking to on the phone. This is beautiful. And she comes up the front. She goes, oh, I see you've already met Pete. His eyes are like a football field lights. He's like, he had a thick mustache. He had like the 80s stag stash. I thought he was going to spit his stash off, man. He looked at me. He looks at her. He looks at the booth that's got probably about 10 grand worth of cards in it. And I had coins in there. I had silver, gold coins. I had like Jordan rookies in the motherfucker shit. Back then, you got to think a Jordan rookie for $200-300, that was big. Nowadays, that won't even get you a fake one. But yes, I've sold some big shit. Okay. Anyways, he's just flabbergasted. He's floored. The next thing you know, I have a computer teacher from the junior high who's engaged in a battle, an intellectual battle with a fucking 5th grader. Not 5th grader. I was 7th grade at the time. A 7th grader who's one of his students at the school. And we're going at it. Now, I didn't take his class. And we're going at it. And then the next thing you know, I didn't talk to him into almost $500+ more worth of shit to buy. And he said, he stops at the door on the way out and goes, you just got the best of me. To make this even better, so back in the day, I was a kid who was kicked out of school a lot. Okay? I'm talking, I was talented. Like, Michael Jordan reinvented dunking, sticking his tongue out, all that shit. I reinvented ways of getting kicked out of school. It's really weird. I've got a $165 IQ. Back when I went to school, you were considered fucking weird. Here's some things I got in trouble for. I would read an entire textbook in one night. Fact. Weird shit. But then again, I'd go and fight the toughest kid at school and fuck up the kid who was 2 grades higher than me. I'd fuck his shit up. But then turn around and do something totally nerd. And I had insects that I studied. I collect insects and study different types of insects. Reptiles, shit like that. I was all over the place. I've got witnesses. I used to dive in the water and catch snapping turtles and pick them up. You know what I did? I would inspect them, look at them, check them out, watch them bite a stick in half, like that. I did wild shit. I knew where all the turtles were hatching. I would catch them. I had big aquarium set out in my backyard, and I would turn around and trade them for cards, comics, coins, or sell them. I had parents come to my house to buy fucking turtles, shit like that. Like the little green and yellow painted turtle with the orange bottoms, little black spots. But I was doing that shit. This is back in the 80s when you could get away with that shit. Oh, good. I'm just fucking around. I'm not trying to sell anything. Of course, anybody ever wants to buy something, I'll sell you something. I'll sell you your own soul. And then I sell it back to you at a higher price. But show me what you got. Well, I'm not selling this stuff. I'm not selling this stuff. These are comics I've had since I was a child. You could offer me $500 for that and I wouldn't sell it. And it's only worth about $15-20. But I'm just showing stuff off. Like I've had this since I was like literally 5th grade. I was going to tell you guys earlier, when I read this story, I cried because I felt sorry for the gorilla guy because they were being mean to him in there. He's just a gorilla, that kind of thing. I cried for the gorilla. I was just a fucking nerd kid. But then again, I'd go out and get in a fist fight with the fucking baddest kid in the neighborhood. I was that guy. It was really weird. Oh yeah. No, I've got sick stuff here. It's random shit like that Lady Cop #1 thing. I just like it because my mother was a cop. Or Jesus being the referee between Spider-Man and Tarantula. Just loved it. I've had that one since I was in fucking like 8th grade or something, that kind of thing. This woman on the cover here because, well, I would fuck the shit out of her. It's a newer comic, but, I've had this one since I was probably like in 4th grade. It just caught my imagination. I don't know why. It's just, it just did. There's certain ones that just, it's not worth $1 million. I've sold Hulk #1 twice in my whole life. The Hulk #1 that's worth, 10 grand in a low grade. I've sold that twice, once on YouTube, once on Facebook, just like I've had this book since I was probably 4th, 5th grade. And 4th, 5th grade me wanted to know if the guys on that Navy ship really could see those girls on the beach and if they were looking at them. The answer is yes, they probably were. You looking at them with binocs. But, this book, I've had this forever. I mean, like, Scalp Hunter. That'll never fly. Even in Trump's administration, that won't fly. And their arm wrestling with Abe Lincoln, love it. Oh, this year, I got that probably on the internet. I love it. It's, Elon Musk. I've had this forever since I was a kid. Superman with Merwoman, or wherever the fuck she is. Lorna Lane or something like that. And here goes fucking Lois Lane and Superman's and going balls deep in her, and I was going to go balls deep in the redhead fucking mermaid. Great, As a young kid, you envision yourself kind of like Ralphie and Christmas Story envisioned himself fighting the bad guys and saving his family with the Red Ryder BB rifle. As a kid, I envisioned myself being that guy in the leather jacket saving my dad because it says the son of the Annihilator, and the dude with the skull's jacket's the son, and he's saying you better free my dad, uncuff my dad or I'm fucking you up. And I'm like, yeah, I'd like to be that guy smashing a Washington Monument and half saving my dad. Stupid shit the kid thinks. And then I showed this one. I mean, if someone offered me enough money, I'd sell it because I could always get another one. But they're not easy to find. It's not cheap. Mine's in better grade. But this wrestling, I collect wrestling. First of all, I collect wrestling magazines. But during the Adam West run, see, that was done in 60. That one over here was done in 60. Where Piggy's pointing. It was done in 60, October 66, which would have been technically fucking November 66. So because they did it a month like that. And no, how'd it go? Yeah, that's how it went. So anyways, boom, wrestling review. And most of these wrestling reviews are beat the fuck out of. So finding one that's probably going to get a 7, in a grade, maybe even higher, Oh, this is nothing. I got better stuff than this. These are just goofy shit that I like. Like I said, the Sergeant Gorilla cover. Love it. Dinosaur Island. I've had that since I was like in 5th grade or something. In fact, when I was a kid, I drew this cover. So yes, I am good at drawing art. I haven't done it in years. I'm rusty. But I used to enter art galleries, like art contests and stuff, and win. Like painting, sculpting, sketching, different mediums, watercolor, charcoal, pencil, colored pencil, oil on canvas. But I used to be really into it. Susan got me on that category now. But I'd have to dig it out. It's been years. I do have some good work though that I did. I want to be the end of that saxophone right there with his heart-shaped lips. That's one of my TV crushes. She was hot. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. I love the color matchup on that one. Oh, very cool. This here I love. It's Archie covers. Any guy, any fucking heterosexual guy, hell, they might even be the other side of the fucking playing field in left field. But any man, hell, any woman look at this cover, the first thing I see is legs. All they see is legs. That's the first thing you see. It's called in fact, this one's actually called the legs cover. It's actually not cheap. It's actually one of the harder to find low print peps. If you see pep comics between about issues 140 to about 175-ish, they're low. Anything especially between 150 to about 170 something. The 150s and 170s are really hard to find. This one's like thank God I'm going blind. 168, 1964. 168, 1964. But look at the color coordination. Look at Pep. It's in the red P, green E, red P, and it matches her dress to the T. And the white background down here really shows off the colors here. Her skates are more like go-go boots. Look at them. I love the stars in different colors. Just bad. And if you look over here, if you look on this side right here, the stars are the same trade dress spawn up here, yellow, and then that. This is badass. And she has the same green as there. It's pretty badass. They did really good with color coordination. That's really cool about graphic design. Giselle Legassi, well-known artist for ID. You had IDW. She's a well-known artist for IDW. She's done a lot of Archie stuff too with Archie covers. This is a Giselle Legassi variant cover. I love that one. That's badass. And I'll show you the other cover for it. There's different covers for this one here. I'll show you. This is a cool one. I like Archie comics for the record. I'm a slut for Archie comics. This is 646. This is issue 646, right? Hold on. This is the other variant for it. It's got to be one of the most UFOs in the cover. Both of these are issues 646. But yeah, pretty cool. Look up Giselle Legassi. She does some amazing work. Boom. That one's this one over here is like the much more expensive variant. There's different covers for that issue 646. But I like this stuff. Like I said, it don't have to be worth $1 million. I've got an Ernie. Oh, you're welcome. Like, this is a guy named Ernie Davis. I read his book when I was in. Oh, that's fine, Mathis. Good seeing you. Come on back. We're gonna be running comic. Listen to me. We will be running comic shows on here, like comic auctions. I will be doing informational videos that I post ahead of time that are like, what can I say? They're like educational videos. Like, it'll be me showing off Civil War stuff, or it'll be me showing off like a bottle and telling you the history of it, or ancient artifacts, that kind of thing. Or it might be a political video where I'm talking about how the Veterans Affairs needs to get fucking right with God, that kind of shit. But I will be running auctions on here, sport card and comic. Okay. This right here, though, I read his biography, Ernie Davis. There's YouTube, there's videos, there's movies about him. He played in Syracuse. He played in Syracuse for the Orangemen, for the Syracuse University. He won the Heisman Trophy. And I think 61, he won the Heisman Trophy. 61 or 62. No, it was 62 he won the Heisman Trophy. And unfortunately, right about the time he won the Heisman Trophy, it was discovered he was battling a very fairly new and rare disease called leukemia. But I read his story from like his biography when I was in the library, and I was in like a study hall type thing where I got to go there because I would get ahead of my teachers on schoolwork. So I get sent to the library to do what I wanted. You know why? Because they knew I'd cause trouble in the classroom. I would get ahead of the kids, and then the worst thing they knew was me being bored. Yes, and you know how I'm outspoken now and I'm brash. Same then. I got plenty of whippings, shit taken by me, all sorts of stuff. But anyways, this guy right here, I cried when I read it. And when I finished his biography, and I realized that he was never going to play in the NFL, I actually cried. When I was a kid, that was the first time as a kid that I cried. No, I cried for the gorilla and the pin a medal. Like, you can't pin a medal on a gorilla Star Spangled War story. But and when I was in junior high, it's for a real person. It's the first time I cried for somebody outside of my family. And I remember crying because I realized that he had worked so hard to overcome racism and to overcome, he won the Heisman Trophy. Ernie Davis was the first Black Heisman Trophy winner. And, I remember how let down he was. John F. Kennedy Sr. was supposed to meet with him for dinner for his reward for winning the Heisman Trophy. Back in the day, it was standard that the person who wins the Heisman Trophy gets to eat dinner with the president. And he was the first Black Heisman Trophy winner. And just coincidentally, John F. Kennedy ended up not showing up to the dinner. And so in the book, he talks about he was forking at his food. He didn't want to eat. He was so let down that the president didn't show for dinner for him. And of course, if you're him back in 1962, you're wondering, is it because of skin? Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. But either way, Ernie Davis died of leukemia. He tried to beat it. He was thinking, maybe I can beat this and I'll be in the NFL. He never did. But nevertheless, Topps made this is how amazing he was. They projected that basically it was going to be him, because he ended up being drafted by the Cleveland Browns, who also had the best running back in NFL already, Jim Brown. He was a fullback, so they were going to use him and Jim Brown as a 1-2 punch. And the Browns would have probably been unstoppable. We may not have had Vince Lombardi's Packers win a Super Bowl. It may have been the Browns. But we'll never know, because he died, and then several years later, Jim Brown was like, I'm out. I'm done. I'm going to go do acting and political activism as a civil rights guy. But I remember when I realized that he was never going to play in the NFL and he wasn't going to realize his dream, and where basically, it's dropped in the story that he died, I cried and I was sobbing. And the librarian, I started telling the librarian about what happened, and she started crying. Sad story though, inspirational story. But he's the first black player to win the Heisman Trophy, and like I said, they only made his rookie card 1 year, 1962 Topps. But back then, Topps didn't make NFL cards of people who hadn't played a game in NFL yet, but they made an exception for him. So that was the only year they made a football card. Pretty damn cool. Love that stuff. I like shit that speaks to me. Jim Abbott, one-arm pitcher. Well, one of his arms is shriveled up like a baby arm. That's a perfect 10, PSA 10 of his 89 Topps rookie, first round draft pick card. Love it. I like, that's me my personal things I have. That's timeless stuff I like, And like I said, I was I was on Whatnot and trying to run shows for a while. They made it hard, man. Like I said, I put cards like this up, like Hank Aaron's 1976 Topps. Now I've sold his rookie card a number of times. I put that up for a $10 start. Not perfectly centered, but it's got decent corners. It's got nice corners. It's probably like a very fine or so, like a VG. Excuse me, it's like a VG plus. It's not a near miss, VG plus, but it's nice corners, clean card. $10 start. No one bid on it, and I told myself right then, in my mind, I didn't say it down there, but I thought I'll never sell in here again. A Kirby Puckett 85 Topps rookie, perfectly centered, sharp corners. I put it up 3 times for $1. It didn't sell. And then the next show, I put it up for $1 again. It only sold for $3. It was a bunch of other things too. A Warren Spahn, like 1965 Topps or something like that. But it was a Warren Spahn original baseball card, and it was sharp corners, dead centered. $4. I was like, I'm out. Oh, a Yogi Berra, I think it was like 62 Topps, and it was like an excellent. Sold for like $12. I'm like, oh God, man. I'm like, and then I had these fools on Whatnot going, give us a Mickey Mantle card. And I'm like, a real one. I'm going, for what? For what? $20? I don't think not. I like a little bit of everything. That's a T206 1909 Piedmont Tobacco card of Napoleon LaJoie. He was so popular, Larry LaJoie. And the only reason that it says authentic altered is that somebody put a tack through here and down here. As you can see, that's what happened. Tack hole. You can barely see them unless you look up close. I don't care. I'll take it like that. So that's still about $1,000 card there. But Larry LaJoie won several batting titles over Ty Cobb. And he was in the first class of the Hall of Fame, the first ever elected class in the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame. He was in it. But he was so popular, the Cleveland Indians changed their name to his nickname, the Nap, because he was Napoleon, and they called him Nap LaJoie. Cleveland changed their name for like 3 or 4 years to the Naps, and he was the player and manager. He was a player and manager. Napoleon Larry LaJoie was so famous and popular in Cleveland that they changed their name to the Cleveland Naps. You will never find another player. Even the Bulls didn't change their names to the MJs or the Jordans or the Air Jordans. They didn't. And so that's the only time I know in history where the team changed their name to the player's name. But I love these T206s, I like the old Piedmont backs and stuff. There's other different cigarette backs, Old Mill, Sweet Caporal, Sovereign, that kind of thing. But I like that stuff. But I'm going to hop on up here, guys. I've been on here for a minute. I wanted to test the feed out. Wanted to check it out. I want to let people know that I'm back. I'm going to be running comic book, sport card, coin shows on here. And a whole lot of fuckery for me. And so we will talk soon. All right, guys. U.S. Air Force salute. Out. Let me see. I've got to figure out. Okay, end stream. Here it goes.